So you guys have asked me lots and lots of questions about kind of how I run the farm, what is this farm even all about, what do we raise, what do we grow, what do we sell. So this video I kind of made just to answer more questions that I've had for any new subscribers or people that have just asked questions along the way. This sheep operation is for the purpose of raising lamb for meat. We live about 2.5 hours outside of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. This is a grain operation, and we wanted to diversify because my skill set and my love has always been livestock and farming with animals. So sheep was something that we discussed, and it had the most potential for growth. So that is why we went into the sheep business. I shipped to a auction barn not too far from here, about 45 minutes north of here. The buyers, I think, have been happy with the product that I've produced. So it's just working well. So until a new market opens or new opportunities open, that is what I do. The one thing that I truly hope this whole community appreciates is the fact that there is a million different ways to sheep farm. The perfect system is what matches your management style, because if it matches your management style, you are going to do a fabulous job of caring for your animals and keeping them healthy and keeping them productive. For me, that's having my animals inside. I know that so many people on here don't like that. The problem with where we live is we live right off the lake, and we get so much snow in the winter. So we're under snow as early some years as October, and it doesn't go away till sometimes, last year we had snow right up to late April. So we would have to store feed anyway. I would have to have all this equipment anyway. So right now they are inside. This barn was designed, it's like they're outside with a roof because it's got full daylight. And these curtains, up till today because it's winter again, really. These curtains open all the way to the ground. I feel pretty good about having them inside. It's a beautiful facility. It makes me want to come out and work and do my best with these animals and really have full observations. I can see an animal when they're sick right away. The other thing is, right outside these curtains, we have a really high coyote population, and if I lose some of these girls, honestly, to coyotes, I will have to quit because it will not be good for this up here. If I'm truly honest with myself, I am petrified of a coyote attack. That's my inside versus outside discussion, and now I'm really nervous for the comments. There is always about 450 ewes in this facility all the time. That is my goal. My ultimate situation in this barn would be to have 3 groups of 150 ewes, and they're either lactating, so they'll either have lambs on their side. The ones are going to be bred, and the ones that are bred. I have this group that lambed in February, March. So there's actually about closer to 200 in this group. The second group I have going on right now is this group that I seedered last week. So next week I'm going to be pulling the seeders and adding the rams. So I have 28 rams I'm sitting around right now. I have 113. So those ones are confirmed pregnant. So they are kind of on maintenance right now. They will be hoof trimmed and vaccinated at the 6-week pre-birth mark as well. They will also get sheared about 3 to 6 weeks before they lamb as well. As for lambing, we lamb here every 3 months. I'm on a 12-week rotation. It works really well. I used to lamb every 6 weeks. I'm also full-time, part-time from about May to December, basically, as being Mark's assistant in the fields. So I have a lot of overlap that I really have to work into my system for lambing. So I'm lambing right now in March, in June, in September, and December. Lambs with their mums, they stay with their mums for 8 weeks. So 2 months essentially, but at 8 weeks I wean them. Mum goes on a drying off program. Babies go to a finishing barn across the road, and I will take you over there and show you that. The lambs, when they are with mum, they also get this little area. It's called a creep area. So I have these bars set up. They can fit in, but mum can't. And here I give them an 18% Crete pellet. It's a fully prepared pellet, so it's got all the vitamins and minerals in it. And I also add some water pails just to get them used to drinking on their own. Now the bottle babies I wean at 35 days of age, 35 to 40 days of age. So this is the younger group. I weaned the older bottle lambs earlier this week, actually on the weekend. I cleaned out that barn and added them over there. Now the problem is they're so little, because I usually wait till they're 8 weeks old. They're so little they can't reach the water bowl. So I'm paling water over there, and also had to transition them very slowly onto that corn ration, but they're already on it and they're doing okay. As for barn clean out, I get asked this question a lot. Every time there is a lambing pen, so those 2 pens were cleaned out in February. I always clean out a lambing pen right before they lamb. So they're getting cleaned out every 3 months. These other pens where I'm really just running the ewes through their management jobs, they can wait a little bit longer because they're not drinking as much water and they don't have the lambs creating that extra manure. So they get done probably close to every 5 or 6 months. So my breeding situation, my breeding protocol, this past year I did some crazy kind of experimenting. From this point on, I'm basically going to go back to my old system of using cedars and PMSG, which I will be doing next week, so I will take you along for that. And I did it in January with really good results. Even my ewe lambs responded quite well. So I think I will go back to that system of cedering, PMSG, and leaving them in for 2 cycles. Last year I did 1 cycle and it really bit me. So this year I'm going to go back to 2 and hopefully regain a little bit on that side. Cedars are not cheap. So that whole program, I'll go into it in more detail on my next vlog, but it's a system you really want to work because it costs you money to do it. As for labor, I do have a co-op student. I don't always have a co-op student, but I'm lucky sometimes that I get one. Right now I have Luke. He works Tuesdays and Wednesdays, typically just doing chores, but I like to plan any management jobs. So that might be weighing some lambs, it might be cedering ewes, it might be pulling cedars. So any management jobs that require the handling system and just that are nicer with 2 people, I like to save those jobs for Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Saturdays, I have Carissa. She's a student and she loves working here and I love having her. So she basically just gives me a day off. That is basically labor. We can get feeding done. If I only have to feed and do nothing else, feeding in here, TMR takes about maybe an hour, and then across the road might take 20 minutes, maybe. It's the bedding and cleaning the water bowls, observing is the stuff that takes a little bit of extra time. I can dedicate a morning for the most part to chores, observation, bedding, cleaning, that kind of thing for that. Paperwork I like to do in the afternoons. It doesn't happen, it should. And the management jobs I like doing in the afternoon. I'm usually done my day at about 5. I'm usually out here by 8 on a typical day. If I'm lambing, that's a completely different gong show. So the days can be more like a 14 or 15 hour day. But again, I'm in and out. It's not like consistent and it's not that torturous. It gets crazy when field work starts because I have to get up early, get chores done, and then dedicate the rest of my day to Mark. So if there's management jobs, I have to make that stuff work. Spring is tough and fall is tough, but we do make it work. I market all my lambs between 105 and 115 pounds. That's the goal. If they don't reach that weight by 5 months of age, 5 or 6 months of age, they go at whatever weight they're at. In saying that, I don't castrate because they're gone before they're really sexually active. And the ewe lambs, for the most part, they get sorted out anyway. So my males and females over there are typically separate. Ewe lambs, I sort at 12 weeks. I do an evaluation, I look at their data, and if I'm happy with them, they become a potential ewe lamb replacement. And then at week 16, which is 4 weeks later, and I do the final evaluation and keep whatever I really, really want. And that is how I run the finishing barn over there. As for data collection, I do use this Gallagher system. It's really dirty because I haven't cleaned it since lambing, but it is a Gallagher TSI system. It comes with the scan gun. This is the old scan gun, so it doesn't have the capability of the new ones. The new ones, I don't even think you need this TSI for just some inventory data. I think you can do a lot on the new guns. Brussels Agri Service, where I got all this stuff. I will link all their information in the description below. But this thing, once I got comfortable with it, which took a few years, I love it. I have the software in my office when I really sit down, crunch numbers, and develop reports as to what specifically I'm looking at. I do a breeding report, I do a lambing report, I do a weaning report. It just depends. You can make any report on whatever you feel management-wise needs looked at. The thing about sheep farming, farming in general, is you're never done learning. So I'm sharing this stuff with you guys, I'm not telling you how to do it. I'm just taking you along with me because I'm learning this stuff as well. I've been in the business for 7 years, and I feel like every year there's so much that I don't know. I don't know when that will ever end, probably when I retire. That's kind of the gist of what I do, how I run the farm. I run the farm with systems, and I don't think it's any different than any other business. You gotta figure out what management tools work best for you. We do have a lot of capital in this barn, and that is so I can run it myself. I'm 44, it's my birthday this week. I'm not a spring chicken, so I need to make things that I can do a lot of the jobs by myself. I don't have to rely on Mark to come and help me do this stuff. And I think sheep in general, learning how to farm them and manage them, I think you gotta learn their behavior. And once you figure out kind of how they move and how they exist, you start to kind of blend your management system so it matches that. If you're running a sheep farm, this is how I run mine, but this style will not work on every farm. It might not work on any farm, but it works for me. And I think it's making me a better farmer. Just getting more patient and more knowledgeable about the animal and about the industry is kind of my goal, and refusing to be happy with the current state of things. Like, I always want to improve. I want to do better. Right now I don't really have any plans of expansion. I think for me to expand is to improve. I want to expand through improvement of my flock. I think that's it. Thanks for watching. Your questions have been awesome. I hope I got them all. A little cool thing that happened this week, YouTube actually mentioned me on Twitter, and I almost started crying because when I started this journey, I felt very lonely. There wasn't a lot of farmers doing it. I had no one to really learn from. Cody Creelman has been my go-to for advice when I was getting started. So thank you, Cody. On Sunday, when my son was actually home from college, and my son is a YouTube fanatic, that tweet came out and he was just like, "Mom, this is really cool." Thank you guys. You're the reason why they shouted me out, because for whatever reason you're watching my videos. So again, I can't thank you guys enough. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being supportive. Take care. Have a great weekend.